How you guys doing? Welcome back. Today is 10/23/2021. We're talking about macro markets. It's like the 9th or 10th time I've done this. Welcome if you're new, you sweet baby angel. Thank you. If you are new, we're going to talk about all the macro markets. I want to discuss RRG graphs and sectors. I want to talk about the 4 indexes that I like. I just want to kind of discuss where I think this week is going to be headed. Again, this is all just dependent on how the market goes Monday through Tuesday and into Wednesday. I can't predict the future, but I can give you a good clear insight of where we are at the moment, and you can act accordingly. With that being said, if you want more information about macro markets, indexes and sectors I cover in my class, you want to have basic technical analysis, fundamental and mental analysis, all those kinds of great things. Again, I suggest check the class out. It's free. It's there for you. I've had maybe 70, 80 people who have so far gone all the way through. Most folks just get through 1 through 10, then call it quits. So if you're really serious about, stock trading, that's the class for you, but you gotta be serious about it. With that being said, I wouldn't join the Discord at the moment because it's gonna charge folks the first. So why don't you just get a free trial? Add me down below. It's my name, and then it's $4698. Go join me on Discord. Add me on Discord. We have a bunch of great stuff in there. I'm actually making a preview video, and I'll discuss it more in depth tomorrow. But for today, no real point really going in depth on that. If you're here, you know who I am. You know what I do. With that being said, we do newsletters every morning, every night. Some great stuff. If you want my picks from Thursday, that video is right here as well. Go check out the picks as well. That's great stuff. In the description box down below is my journal. I keep a live journal of all my calls, all the plays that I do, and how they're doing. And you can go check it out for free. See what I've called, how they're doing, where I'd buy them, where I'd sell them. It's all going great. I have to be transparent as possible. So that being said, I won't waste too much time. Let's talk about the indexes together real quick. Let's get into it. So, off the bat is Dash ES. Now, this is obviously SPY as well, right? Same exact thing. I use SPY like that. But Dash ES as well. You have a nice uptrend, all right, over the last 10 years. A nice little uptrend. It always goes up. And we have plenty of sell-offs, and it always comes back just fine. And as we can see, it's coming back just fine. Now, this is the issue with where we're at right now. I like to buy low, sell high. But I don't like to miss out on a bull market, so what do? I think the most important thing you look for is retracement strength. We can see it has a nice run-up, first retracement, smaller run-up, smaller retracement, smaller run-up, bigger retracement, small run-up, large retracement. We seem to be losing some strength here. I'm not overly concerned. I mean, I'm not I don't think we're going to be down in the 4,200s anytime soon in the 4,000s. But it is pulling back just a bit. So I think for me personally into this week, I don't love what I'm seeing. I think you may have a small support somewhere in 4,500 to 4,510. Anywhere here, maybe a small support for you. If it really does dip, we're looking probably towards 44.67 here. That'll probably be your first really main strong support. It has yet to really be tested as support besides once. It's only really been a resistance. Anywhere in here, I mean, it's support there and, of course, whatever. So if we do start to dip, I would probably look to enter towards 45, if not 44, 45, 44.65, not 69. Really good spot to be in. But overall, it has great strength. I mean, we have great pullbacks along the way. And every time we get all-time highs, what happens? Look at all-time highs over here, pullback. It takes a time, all-time highs, pullback. Comes back up, all-time highs, melt up, pullback, all-time high, pullback. And consistently when we get all-time highs on Dash ES, we either have A, pullbacks, or B, melt-ups. And we have both opportunities here. For me, I mean, on Monday and Tuesday, I'm thinking maybe kind of red as we kind of find more ground. But again, into the later weeks, probably going to be green here. I would definitely feel comfortable going long at almost any time. I would just wait for value on my micro level because macro-wise, you're not going to have it. But again, there's plenty of opportunities for shorts up here and plenty of opportunities for momentum up here. You know, either way, in my opinion, the SES looks very healthy. I like what I see. With the NASDAQ, again, this trend that we've been following is absolutely goated. It just bounces off the spot plenty of times. And again, does it match the resistances? Yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, I would definitely say it's much more of a wedge up at this point, which it obviously looks like it's doing. It's wedging up as time goes on. Wedge ups don't last forever. And again, do we have room? Yeah, we have plenty of room to run higher. So that's the only good sign that I'm saying I'm confident in the S&P because it's wedging up, but we still have like 5-6% to run up fully if it were to stop here. So again, we're at a better value. I think that coming closer to 15,286, anywhere in here, anywhere in this area is going to be a fine support bounce. With volume profile, we can see the POC is right where I drew it. Wow, who knew that's how that works? It's almost like volume dictates supports and resistances. Wow. So this is a really strong spot for to go into. If we do hit any lower, it's going to gap quickly. It's going to be a very quick move. It might be a very red Monday if it does go quick. But again, this is a very strong support. Anywhere from 14.97 to 15.050. Anywhere here is a very strong support. So yeah, we may see some red if it does dip. But again, that's also a strong support right in this area. So if it does break over, we should have some higher highs. Again, I think NASDAQ is bullish. I don't think we have massive concerns here. We have macro higher lows, lower low, higher low than this move, higher low, higher high, then again higher high, higher low, higher high. And we have now I guess a small term lower low, but a higher low. So this does have a higher low here. If we don't break above 15.447 on the next move, then we could become concerned, right? Because we still have higher highs, right? But when we have a higher low, we got to see what happens. We got Elliott wave theory in action here. We'll see what it does. But if it does, in fact, get a lower low and a lower high here. So we have anywhere in this area. If we don't get above, again, 15.456, but more realistically, 15.485. We don't get above this area. That's when you can start to be concerned. But until then, we're still very bullish. I do like what I see. With the Russell 2000, again, it's getting very close to breaking out. This trend up is not holding. That's fine. But again, higher lows across the board. I mean, you could argue, or you could argue that this consolidation is more at this angle. I think it's a bit not, it's like not steep enough, but it's what we're seeing. Maybe it's more like this. Anyways, we're getting very close to breaking out soon here. This is high. Do I want to buy high? No, I don't. But I do need to have some form of life. And I think that Russell 2000, if any of these tickers any of these indexes have a chance of breaking out, it's this one. This has a lot more movement when it comes to falling. But look at the history. It's just been going sideways for like what, almost a year now, just like clockwork, back and forth, back and forth. And that's what it does. Sideways down, big move up, sideways. So we have plenty of room here to break out. We also have a lot more room to drop down though. So I'm not overly excited to enter the Russell 2000 here, but if I'm being honest, this is now going to be a support area. We broke above this. That's a good sign. We should make that white real quick. We have so many supports below, right? For it to really drop down harder, it really has to sell off. I think right here, if it does hold, great entry spot. If we do break out, you're going to be on a great rocket ship, having a good old time. So up here again, just like Dash ES and Dash NQ, I'm not overly excited for not having a good deal. But again, on a pullback like this, I'm fine to enter. It looks pretty good. Last is the Dow 30, or again, DIA. That works as well, as we can see. But the Dow 30 right here, it's high. I don't want to buy this high. All right, I don't want to miss on a bull market either. Because again, if you were to buy here and hold for like 3 to 4 years, it doesn't matter what you buy, you're going to be Gucci, right? It always goes higher, right? But again, I do want to wait for either a stronger breakout and then a pullback. So I want to get up a bit higher and then pull back. I can buy into that. Or I want to buy closer to 33.6 or 34 or even 35. This is a very not amazing deal, obviously. But again, if it keeps going higher, you can buy into momentum anytime you want to. Maybe this is going to be the new kind of trend up we're going to have. It does match the resistance line here pretty well. I mean, it looks like it may be what's forming. Is this new channel up? It's very possible. And again, if that's the case, we can rep another %, but then we have not much more to run up here. I think it's a great sign of life for the market. I don't think it's a great value, though. Again, with Dash YM, I want to buy my long-term holds here. My Apples, my Microsoft, my GM, whatever you like. Ford, it doesn't matter. Whatever you like to buy that's like a billion-dollar company, you want to hold for 3 to 5 years. You still want to buy low. Again, you could always buy those and probably be fine in 2 or 3 years with dividends and growth. Be just fine. But if we're going to talk about optimal entries, I think we're talking closer to 34, if not 35. With that being said, let's check RRG graphs together and get in some sectors. So when it comes to RRG graphs, you always go to stockcharts.com and you can go to S&P sector ETFs, and we can look at the weekly first. That's fine. So it looks like overall, if you're more of a long-term person, I'm focusing financials. That's the best one for the next month and a half. That's really going to be crushing it, looks like. Next is XLY. They're also going to be going into good territory here. Tech is slowing down. Real estate is kind of coming back up. So it looks like real estate looks pretty good if it turns around. XLF, XLY, and energy apparently is just getting started. Again, what's important to note here, down here, is that the RRG graphs is against the S&P. That's important. Why? Because the S&P is green and you're in lagging, you're still going to most likely be green, if not very little red. And if the S&P is red, you may be in leading, but you're still red. You're just less red. And as we can see, you know, you have these three, the bottom four here, are red, but they're not red at all compared to, like, you know, macro level. You know, -3 is not terrible, right? But the S&P is only +1, while energy has been crushing it. And even then, XLP and XLU are still negative. They're coming back now, but they're still negative. So it's not a perfect science here at all. But again, it looks pretty good. If I'm long-term holding energy, financials, XLY, and maybe XLRE. When we go to daily for this week in particular, it's a little bit more controlled. Energy is kind of slowing down. That makes sense. XLF is kind of slowing down. That makes sense. But again, it's in comparison to the S&P. Just because XLF and XLE are now in what I consider weakening, it doesn't mean they're not going to be green, right? Because the S&P goes up 10%, everything goes up 10%. XLF may only go up 4 or 5%, but it's still green. So it's important to note that everything is in fact green this week besides communications, which is still selling off pretty hard here. Even if it's going to be in lagging or weakening, it still may be a fine purchase off momentum. What we can see off the bat, XLI and XLB like to move together. They're both going into weakening. That's not a great sign because I know from memory they're both towards resistances. XLY is going into leading. That's a good day trading opportunity. Real estate adding in a good swing / day trading. XLK as well is good day trading and swing trading opportunities. XLU is turning around but kind of muddled. XLV, healthcare is a great swing opportunity. And then of course XLF could be a good swing, and same with XLP here. So it looks like most sectors are going to be green. I think I'd avoid at this point. XLC, I'd probably try to avoid for now until I get a better value. But overall, everything else, XLV, Y, KRE, BYI, looks fine. I would probably look to short XLI and XLB if they really do show some weakening here. And then XLF is actually breaking out. So I think it may come down and retest its old resistance and then go into leading. So I think most sectors look pretty good here. They look healthy. Energy, right here, was up 10%. Now it's only up 2%. It's still up that. It's still up that 10%, but it's been more than 10 days. So now that it's been 10 days, those massive gain days have been taken off of its tail, and it's really showing us some weakening here. What's cool to look at is actually when it says tail here. What's really dope is that it shows you how much momentum it has into that sector. So like XLE has a massive tail. That means it has the most volume and most movement. XLV has a lot of movement. XLC, a lot of movement. Like XLI has none. XLU, RE, and K have been very small tails, right? They're not really moving that quick, right? They're going kind of slow here. While XLE, I think these two last days of volume and movement and momentum is longer than all 10 days here. So it's also showing that energy is the most liquid and the most volatile right now as well. With that being said, let's check out the sectors themselves technically and see what we're looking at. Let's get into it. So XLB itself is not a horrible purchase, but I think it's a much clearer short here. Again, it's broken above this, but this is a whole strong resistance area we're coming into, right? Anywhere from 86 and some change, about 87 and some change. A lot of resistances here, right? It's hitting this resistance trend line. Sure, it may be a bit bold here, but again, if I were to even just be fair, it's hitting it, not showing any life. With volume profile on, again, this is a very strong resistance. This is a nice little gap area. It's going to have some quick movements here. It's not really going to seem to have much life. We're going to really need to see some volume. The issue with XLB, we need to see some volume, is with its tail, we don't have any. It's not a lot. And it's headed towards weakening. So if it's me this week, individual tickers, okay, it may be a different story. But XLB is hitting resistances. Yeah, it can still go higher. But look at big run up. Look at this. Good charting, idiot. Big run up, small pullback. Big run up, small pullback. Small run up, pullback. Small run up, pullback. Small. We're really showing some weakness here compared to like these bigger run ups over here. Like this over here, it may do this, okay, but it also may do this. And it seems to me XLB this week, I'd short it / not touch it. Maybe individual tickers would be just fine, but XLB to me looks pretty weak, if I'm being honest. XLC, it did break out of this downward trend. That's nice. And now it's kind of showing maybe we have a new trend forming. Maybe you're closer to something like this. All right, that could be a thing. Maybe it's down here. I think anything that you put here, though, is you're just grabbing at straws. I think you're really trying here, if you're trying to find a trend line for XLC, I think you're really just grasping at something because you can see, obviously, we had a really nice trend up. What's this? A wedge up. What do I do? Breakdown. So we have a new pattern forming here. You know, maybe it makes a cup and handle. Maybe it comes a little bit farther and cups back around. But look, we don't have a higher high. All right, it got close, double top. It got close here, didn't live, and now it's coming down. What I'm looking for is a higher low. Maybe it fills this gap and takes off. I think XLC could be shorter. I think it could be lower. That's proven here. So I wouldn't touch XLC this week. Again, maybe there's some tickers that are fine, but overall, I don't love what I see. Energy being a real piece of stuff. It's really, I mean, it's hitting this old resistance area once again, 58 and some change. It's a very strong resistance area, right? This is a strong support, strong resistance. It's coming into this area and showing some weakness finally. Again, would I short XLE? Yeah, I think if you're going to do it now, I tried it over here. It didn't work great. It is what it is, but this is very strong resistance. Maybe it's making a head and shoulders, right? Maybe it does one of these bad boys and comes down. We'll see. But again, it's also very high up here. XLE, once again, rocketing down into lagging. And again, if S&P does hit that resistance and doesn't get higher, XLE is going to suffer the most here. So I would again look to short, but again, momentum plays. If there's great stuff coming in about XLE sectors, it could be just fine. But again, I don't love what I see either. XLF is just breaking out this old. This was an old ascending triangle. It's breaking out, right? And maybe I put this resistance just because of volume is being an issue up here. You know, it always goes higher. It has earnings. I'm not really worried about XLF. This is not sustainable, this massive run up. But again, let's look back. XLF is also going into lagging. Maybe it turns quicker with earnings and goes up. So again, I wouldn't mind playing XLF here. I don't love the idea. I don't hate the idea. I think it may be just fine. You may come down and retest some, you know, old resistances for supports. But again, if it keeps momentum going, I have no issue playing long on it, especially with earnings coming. But again, I don't love how high up it is. Industrial is the same story as XLB. This is a very strong resistance area. It's not showing much life here. You know, their retracements are getting more and more common. It's not showing much life up here. But again, if it does break out like XLF did, you could have just a glorious absolute week of 3 or 4% running. So I mean, I wouldn't be as scared by XLI here, but again, it's not showing much life at all. It's really starting to kind of curl back into lagging here. So would I go with XLI long? Not on the macro level, but I think, you know, individual, it makes sense. Maybe it comes down, retests 104 and takes off. You're pressuring the resistance. You like to see that, but again, this rep has been pretty weak, not gonna lie. XLK, once again, hitting resistance. You know, it always goes higher, but it's hitting this resistance here. Not showing much life at all. It's kind of sputtering out. Again, I'd probably buy XLK just a bit lower. XLK is going to be moving into leading. If that's the case, it could lead to good day trading opportunities. I don't love the value, but again, if it does show some life and gets a breakout, it could XLF and just take off. I'd like it either way. Shorting going long makes sense here. But overall, I want more direction. I want to break out and go for that, or I want to buy into a lower spot. Either way, it looks pretty okay. XLP has the most potential overall so far. XLP, as we can see, is going into lagging. It's slowing down, but it gives us the best value. We have a really good value here, right? We break above here. We're going to have 2 or 3% to run up. This whole entire trend line has been great. It matches the resistance trend lines pretty well. Maybe we are trying to see some, you know, I'd probably be more remiss in not mentioning we're probably going to see, again, some wedge up here. So maybe your most profit is going to be 4 or 5%, you know, if it is wedging up here. And again, this is a strong resistance. Okay, we break above this tomorrow with some life. You can go long and play the momentum. If it doesn't live here, I will look to cut it. You have obviously a little bit of what looks to be like a wedge up here as well, which is, again, more bearish for the short term. And this is a wedge up here, broke down and took off. So maybe you want to buy in lower. I'll probably wait on XLP to buy in lower. But if it does break out above here, you can definitely go long as well. Real estate's crushing it. I mean, this was an easy buy off a support line. It's up 7%. I wouldn't be looking to go long here entirely too hard, but it broke this resistance. And again, there's nothing stopping us from going up another 1 or 2% easy. Real estate, once again, is looking pretty good and going to leading. I like real estate. I like, was that tech? I like real estate and tech right here. That makes a lot of sense. I could easily go long on real estate. And again, is it the best value? No, but momentum-wise, it makes a whole lot of sense here. Utilities, good purchase down here, hitting resistance once again. So if it doesn't, I mean, this goes with XLP, XLI, all these kinds. If it doesn't break this area, wait to buy in lower or an easy short. I'm not going to waste too much time here. Very strong resistance. I'm sure if I do volume profile, there's no volume up here. You got to clear this gap, get to 68, and then survive over here. If it does come down, I'd enter on 65.50. Pretty easy play right there. But again, XLU, we need volume, we need some life. XLV, again, just an absolute snack down here. A week later, it's again hitting a resistance. XLV, though, as we can see, has more room to run up to leading. So again, I'm more bullish on this one, especially with the breakout. I can see plenty of move here. I do want to buy it lower, maybe start to go horizontal, see a big move, horizontal, big move, horizontal. You know, it does that. So maybe go, you know, consolidate for a little bit here, bounce off 130 to 132, and then take off. Again, I want to break out. I want it lower, But if we do get some green on Monday and Tuesday, could be a fantastic buy. And last is XLY. Again, I'll be more into shorting this one for sure. It's coming back, but there's not much strength behind it. And again, technically speaking, it's really getting up towards resistance. I mean, it's up there. It makes sense to have a small pullback. I would go long for sure eventually. It always goes higher. XLY always prints. But again, for a small, avoiding it until it's lower or shorting makes a lot of sense. Go long lower, but XLY here, looking fairly weak into this week unless we get some volume. There you guys have it. That's what I'm looking at. I think that you should be watching the indexes first and then go from there. I think we have a lot of stuff hitting resistances, which should tell you what your plan should be. Oh, I zoomed in. Just tell you what your plan should be. Hi. I think what's most important here is that I'm trying to look and see what the indexes are going to do. That's where I start. If S&P, Dow 30, they're all hitting resistances and not living, I don't buy anything. I just wait. Sometimes the best move is cash and wait for a better play. But if we do see some life here, XLK, XLI, XLRE makes sense, XLY can make some sense. I think we have some good choices here. The best thing we have for this week that's going for us is clarity. We have a lot of really good, strong supports and resistances you can easily monitor. And there's going to be probably some chop here. I mean, these crazy meme stocks are taking over. You may want to play those. I myself am going to try and find some great value and just go long as always. It seems to work well for me. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day. I didn't mention, look at this dumb statue I found on TJ Maxx. I got it because I have actually, someone mentioned my tattoos the other day, and I saw this. I actually have the Headless Horseman. This is a dumb angle, but I actually have the Headless Horseman tattooed on me. And I saw this, and I was like, you can't not get a 3D, like, whatever, golden statue of him holding his head up like an idiot. I mean, like, that's just, it is what it is. So maybe I'll get some more tattoo-inspired art in here. Ugh. There we go. Maybe I'll get some more tattoo-inspired art, because I have him, and I also have that. So maybe I'll get the Wolfman, which is coming in right there. Maybe I'll get a shark or something. You know, it's a pretty cool idea. But I saw that, and I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've seen in my entire life. I need it in my life. Nee. Otherwise, have a good rest of you guys this week. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another watch list. Thanks.